When you dial 911, our first responders come to help you. But who do they call when they need help? I'm Dr. Dan Middlebrooks, and I want to welcome you to an incredible night of our virtual Banquet of Heroes. Tonight, you're going to hear some incredible stories about inspiration, as well as a celebration and recognition of all that our first responders do and the community that loves them. To get this night started, I want to introduce you to a group that is very special to Chaplaincy Care. It's a first responder group that is a singing group called the New Floridians. They have not only answered the call to protect and serve, they've answered a higher call to profess and sing. So as we get started tonight, enjoy the music of the New Floridians, and I will see you inside as soon as they get finished.
Though the battle rages long and on into the night, there's a hope to help us cope, we'll not give up the fight. Darkness and despair will no longer have to bear when the morning breaks, eternal, bright and fair. When the morning breaks, eternal, bright and fair, all the soldiers of the cross will gather over there. All our sorrow will be gone as the night gives way to dawn. When the morning breaks, eternal, bright and stormy mornings, no more clouds up in the sky. No more fears and no more tears will ever dim our eyes. What a joy will come when we see the risen sun. We'll stand and shout, praise God, the victory is won. When the morning breaks, eternal, bright and fair, all the soldiers of the cross will gather over there. All our sorrow will be gone as the night gives way to dawn. When the morning breaks, eternal, bright and fair. When the morning breaks, eternal, bright and fair, all the soldiers of the cross will gather over there. All our sorrow will be gone as the night gives way to dawn. When the morning breaks, eternal, bright and fair, all our sorrow will be gone as the night gives way to dawn. When the morning breaks, eternal, bright and fair.
What a great way to start the night. That was our New Floridians. They're a first responder singing group. And if you're just now tuning in, I'm Dr. Dan Middlebrooks. I'm the president and founder of Chaplaincy Care. And I want to welcome you to an incredible night, but I also want to welcome my beautiful co-host, Crystal Hate-to-Sing, that represents our community as well as our companies. Crystal, it's great to have you with us tonight.
Thank you, Dan, for having me here. I really appreciate it. Yes, my name is Crystal Hate-to-Sing. I am the community ambassador for Mission Barbecue. I have a very unique role within the food industry in that I get to help serve our local first responders.
Tonight, not just about what she does in serving them, but you're going to hear some stories from our first responders as well as community members just like you that love and to support them. Chaplaincy Care, this is our annual banquet. This is our fundraiser that we do every single year. And this year, we want to go above and beyond what we did last year to be able to do twice as much. This year, our goal is $50,000. That seems like a lot, but it is really something that we want to be able to do so that we can double the impact. Because of all the stuff that's been happening, the problems, pandemics, and stuff of that nature, we've been very busy, but it has been a great opportunity to pour into the lives of our first responders. So here's what we want you to be able to do. Tonight, my challenge for you is to be a hero to our heroes. Absolutely. You're the one that's going to be able to help them in their lives. So I want you to be able to look at the website that you have that's right below us and go to it at chaplaincycare.org and be able to make either a one-time gift donation or Become one of our monthly heroes to be able to invest into the lives. Because of doing that, it is able to do that. And while you're online, go ahead and check out some of the incredible online auction stuff that we have to be able to raise the money. I'm going to go for the green egg. It's really a great thing. But go for that, because there's a great way. But it's not only that, it's a way that you can also be able to call in.
Yes, yes. We would love your call-ins. Donations would be fantastic for you to do. We've also got, for our first 20 callers in, we are going to be giving away a CD for the New Floridians, and you're going to hear some of their music a little bit later.
Absolutely. You can also go to our phone number that's right below there. Call in, because operators are standing by, and they'll be able to get the information from you, because it's important for you to not only be able to contribute into their lives, but to invest in protecting their hearts. Crystal, do me a favor.
Yes, sir.
Ask me, what is Chaplaincy Care?
Dan, what is Chaplaincy Care?
I'm so glad that you asked. Chaplaincy Care is a 501c3 organization that has only one mission, and that is to protect the hearts of our heroes. We do that really in 3 different ways. We do that through our chaplaincy services, through our chaplaincy counseling center, and our Chaplaincy Care Academy. Now, when we talk about our chaplaincy services, that's where we're able to go to the different sites, different agencies, and to be able to visit all of our first responders and to be able to look at them and check on them to see how they're doing. But we also train. We do a lot of proactive resiliency training. Now, resiliency is not just bouncing back when things happen, but it's preparing for the bounce. But we also work on personal relationships and professional leadership development. So we really do a lot of training in that. And there's some other events that we also do.
Which is fantastic. Another event that is done on a weekly basis is the Bionic Lunches, which is very unique in the community as well. So different businesses donate food, correct? Exactly. Law enforcement, fire rescue are able to come out to the facility. They get food, lunch, dinner. It's also a safe place for them as well, correct?
Exactly. Matter of fact, Bionic simply stands for this: believe it or not,
I care.
Yep. It's just making sure that we're pouring into them. And from your industry, you know more than anything else that truthfully, the way through a first responder's heart,
food,
still
right
through the
stomach.
still through the stomach. And so that is a way to be able to do that. And we invest in them, but also there's a way by which we continue to do it, because you'll talk more about the counseling center a little bit later on.
Yes, sir.
But what I want to be able to do is to say that as we move forward, to begin the story, I'm going to start with our Chaplaincy Care Academy, because we're really training the next generation of chaplains that's going to be able to invest in this crucial mission to be strategic shepherds, to be able to take care of our first responders. And one of the great things about that is I'm finding out that many of our first responders that are retiring are stepping in to become the very chaplains for those that they've not only worked with, but now they're going to be able to care for. That is a powerful place, and that is where our first story actually begins. Will Murphy is our first person that I'm bringing up, because he worked for the Largo Fire Department for 26 years. 26 years, and he has seen a lot of stuff, and he's done a lot of stuff. But according to Will, the best is about to come. Why? Is for the last 2 years, he's actually been training to be a fire chaplain. So why don't you take the time to listen to his story and hear about not just the fires that he's experienced, but the smell of smoke that sometimes can get on the soul because of it.
Hi, I'm Will Murphy, retired firefighter paramedic from the city of Largo. I spent just a little over 26 years as a first responder. Started out as a chance meeting with a lieutenant from another fire department at a manager's meeting for McDonald's managers. As we sat across the table, he looked over at me and took some interest. We spent a little time talking, and he said, "You'd make a great firefighter." As a hunter and a fisherman, I wanted time to be able to do what I love to do. I had no idea it was going to lead me down an exciting road that, golly, I just can't explain. Many times through my career, I've found that it became difficult and really didn't have anything to do but suck it up, Buttercup. We've run many calls through these 26 years, but one that's very interesting to me was a fella that was hit in a van, and he wanted to refuse treatment for about 20 minutes. And all I wanted to do was help him. I've been trained to take care of him. I've been trained how to get him out of the car. I've been trained how to take him to the hospital. But what I couldn't do is make him say, I want to go. And when he finally did decide he wanted to go with me, I got him out of the car, onto a backboard, onto a stretcher. And on the way to the stretcher, he sat up and said, I'm dying. And he died right there. I have no idea why that happened. I have no idea what I could have done to get him to use my services sooner. I don't know that had he gone right away, that the outcome would have been any different. But that's the sort of thing that a first responder carries with them through a 26-year career. We choose to serve, we want to help. We go out of our way to make people's day better. We spend 24 hours anxiously awaiting the next call, and if we're really lucky, we get invited back for 12 more hours of overtime. I really enjoyed my time with my family here at Largo Fire Rescue and look forward to serving them in the future. About 3 years ago, I learned what traumatic stress was through the Office of the Medical Director and my position as a continuing medical education instructor. He suggested that these are the sorts of things that every one of our monthly training for continuing medical education, we need to learn a little bit more about traumatic stress and how to develop resiliency skills. I really enjoyed that portion of it, and the more I learned, the more I wanted to know. We started a committee at Largo and started on our way. About a year into the project, a friend of mine who was a retiree from Largo killed himself. And it hit me hard. This is the sort of guy that would call me up and ask me how to get his outboard motor started, how to fix his trailer, why wouldn't his transmission in his truck shift. But when it came to something as important as a life and death choice, he couldn't give me a call. And I don't know that there was anything that I could have done to help him, but I know that I'm called to help others. My friend Steve Brannon, who I worked with for many, many years here, was in the weight room, and I walked in and I said, hey, Steve. And this question might sound odd to you, but it wouldn't seem odd to Steve, because we've lived and breathed and risked our lives for others for a long time. I said, hey, Steve, did you think I'd ever kill myself? And he looked up at me and said, no. And he put the weights on the rack. And just before I got out the door, after feeling like, yeah, I'm good, he said, I didn't think our friend would either. And that kicked me right in the teeth. I thought, my goodness, we've got to do something more to help first responders. Through our Behavioral Wellness Committee here at the city, I was able to develop a chaplaincy plan, and that's what I was in charge of. I met Dr. Daniel Middlebrooks through a chance meeting on a cruise with Jim Brangenberg, and he took my call and came and met with me. We sat across the table from one another, and I listened to him, and I thought, that's the guy. He's going to be our fire chaplain. And he sat laughing at me and looked at me and said, hey, that's the guy. He's going to be their fire chaplain. And some 2 years later, I have become a volunteer fire chaplain, and I'm beginning to serve here in the city of Largo. I haven't really gotten it all down yet, but I'm enjoying the learning process of how to get there. The city looks out very much for our health as a first responder with an annual physical. And now we're able to begin to help them with their spiritual health, to be able to look them in the eye and tell them we don't know why it happened, but that it's gonna be all right, and we're all gonna get through this together. It's a pleasure to have served here in the city, and I look forward to what may lie ahead. I don't know what it is. I didn't know I was even gonna do this job. I was just thankful that I was chosen, that I had mentorship, and that I was encouraged. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You know, Dan, earlier we talked about the training that chaplaincy care provides to our first responders. And I kind of wanted to compare just a little bit, not too much, just how being in the food industry versus a first responder. Obviously, they're very different realms.
Yeah.
You know, when in the food industry, it is We want to make sure our teammates, our employees are up to date on what they need to do in that particular line.
It's almost like be there when you're supposed to do and do the stuff that you need to do.
Exactly, exactly. However, that's obviously a lot different than the training that a first responder needs to uphold.
Yeah, exactly. The training for a first responder is magnitude in reference to what they need to do, not just to do their daily duties, but to save a life in the process, even if it
Yes.
means possibly giving theirs in the end.
Yes.
I want you to listen to three perspectives from our law enforcement, from our fire and rescue, as well as our military, as they talk about the importance of training. And it's more than just the physical training, it's the training of the heart.
Hi, my name is Jerry Stwan. I am a captain with the Plain City Police Department. I've been with the Plain City Police Department since 1991. I just crossed over my 29th year, heading towards year number 30. The topic is training, and I tell you, we do a lot of training. We take training very seriously here at Plain City Police Department, as does the rest of the law enforcement agencies in our region. We have a cooperative approach to training. We train with Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, Temple Terrace PD, Tampa Police Department. We go over to the other counties, Polk County, and even Lakeland PD we train a lot with. And you know, over the 29 years I've seen training kind of evolve a lot. I remember 29 years ago we were doing pursuit driving and firearms training and defensive tactics. Well, as times have changed, training has changed too. And we see a lot more social type training. I know now we're doing a lot of de-escalation training, autism awareness, mental illness awareness, and all those things are good. All those things are great, and they have their place in modern policing. One of the areas that we really don't focus on is training our officers for what comes when they go home, or what's in their heart. And honestly, we kind of fail there. And that's one reason I was extremely happy to be on the charter board of Chaplaincy Care. It meant a lot to me to even be asked to be on it, but it gave us an opportunity to reach out to officers before anything happens, or maybe even after something happened, and kind of train their hearts, because we do protect the hearts of the warrior at Chaplaincy Care, and that's something I was very proud of.
Hello, my name is Bruce Delk. I'm the rescue chief with Hillsborough County Fire Rescue. I've been with Fire Rescue for 30 years, going on 30 years, a little over 30 years. So it's been a long time. And I've seen a lot of change in the department since I came on. I remember a time where you've run several crawls that just don't go away. They're with you. If you stop and think, they're there. And I remember a call, back a long time ago that affected me, and it affected the crew. And it was one of those calls where they don't prepare you for. You're not prepared to see that. So when you go on the call and you take care of business, because we go into that mode, we go into that clinical mode, and we just get our job done, and then we're out. But then we go back to the station, and everyone's just kind of sitting around looking at each other, and you're numb. You're numb because you don't know what to do with what you just saw. And that was in a time where if you did talk about it, people would think, well, maybe you shouldn't be a firefighter if you're affected by this stuff. You should just suck it up, buttercup, and move on. And that was the attitude. And it's like, if we had just come back, after those calls and sat around the kitchen table and talked about it amongst ourselves and let each other know that, hey, it's okay to be affected by it. We're human beings. We're firefighters, yeah, we're big, strong, tough guys or whatever, but we're human beings first. And we run on human beings. And so when there's something like that, you are affected by it, whether you want to realize it or not. Just to be able to go back to the station and talk about things amongst yourselves so that you feel like, hey, he feels the same way I do. This is just normal how we feel. And then once it's out in the open, it helps with your recovery. Chaplaincy Care has provided that instruction, that training for our newly hired firefighters and also existing firefighters on the job. We have a couple of different programs with Hillsborough County Fire Rescue. We started with CISM, we have PIRIT program, and we also have Chaplaincy Care. They come in, they teach us how to clear our minds, not just our minds, but our hearts as well. And that's what's important. So I appreciate the fact that Chaplaincy Care has been a part of our program here at Hillsborough County Fire Rescue. And I've been fortunate enough to talk to Pastor Dan on several occasions, and I appreciate what he does. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Stephen Galindo, and this is my wife.
I'm Jana Galindo, and we have been married 9 years this month.
And I've been in the National Guard for 3 years. I was active duty for 5 years prior to that. And over the last 3 months, I've been activated with the headquarters company for the 53rd Infantry Brigade Combat Team as part of COVID response, and then shifting into civil unrest response to that, and then shifting back into COVID response after that. So it's been a dynamic 3 months.
For sure.
A lot of the stressors from that have been, I've been in school full time. I've been 45 minutes, an hour down the road. I've been so close yet so far away as far as helping her with the kids. And just being that close but that far away while being in school, because I can't take that much time to commute the whole way. That's probably been one of the greatest stresses, is just being so close yet so far away. And we've learned a lot about communicating.
Yeah,
for certain,
definitely.
and how to do it better.
Yeah, exactly. Because we dealt a lot with, things like, oh, I have to maintain the household myself. I have to watch all the kids. I have other kids I babysit and things like that. And all of that was on me, and I didn't have my right-hand person, who's usually such a great help, at home. On top of just things are crazy in the world, and we're already really isolated because we weren't able to go do things with our friends. I wasn't able to just, bring the kids to activities I normally would during a time like this. So it definitely added some extra pressures on me, and my initial response was to kind of just carry all that and then try to just blaze through and get through everything I needed to do. But I realized that was just causing so much buildup in my life and was really dragging me down. Mm-hmm. So through like the CVI index that we learned about, I was able to kind of dig into my personality type and all that to understand I am having such a hard time because relationships with people are so important to me, and my closest relationship in life is not here all the time. And my closest friends I would naturally rely on, we still had communication virtually or through phones, but it's just not the same as having them there in person. So I had to learn how am I going to deal with this and find ways to really kind of let go of all of this and process things out loud instead of carrying them and just trying to trek through my life.
I think a big part of what we've learned is the term prioritize communication comes to mind, but that seems too passive. You have to fight for communication. Mm-hmm. You have to fight for it, because and you can talk to anybody who's been anywhere. Communication can always be better. It can never be worse. You have to fight for it, because otherwise you're going to go downhill.
Exactly. Very, very quickly at that. So that's why I'm really grateful that Chaplaincy Care has given us all these tools, because otherwise it would have been a whole lot more difficult to go through this time without those. And I'm just really great that even through what, before in our life when you've been deployed overseas or in other states for training, that always was a relationship break for us. There were things we had to sort through when he came back because it caused such a rift in our relationship, not being there to work on a lot of things and address the stressors. But this time I feel like our relationship is probably better this on the other side of this than it ever has been with any separation, and Chaplaincy Care has been a huge part of that.
Yeah.
So to play off of something that Gandhi once said, if you want to change the community, you need to be a part of that change. And to do so, you need to share your time and your talent. What else do we share?
We also need to share our treasure. And that's one of the things, when you talk about investing, it's really not about giving to an organization as it is investing in the very hearts and lives of our first responders.
Yes.
Now, one of the things I'm going to put out right now is a challenge, because we've received note from a couple that is putting a challenge out for everyone that's out there right now, is that they will match dollar for dollar Up
That's
to
amazing.
up to $10,000 of what they're going to be doing. So go to your phones right now, go to your computers, and go to the website, chaplaincycare.org, or go to the phone number that's listed below, and call in, because we want to be able to reach that goal pretty fast, because they want to give us $10,000. I think we need to help them do that.
I think so too.
So
Yes.
while you're considering doing that, won't we listen to the next song by the New Floridians, because they are an incredible group. Guys,
Definitely incredible.
it's so great to have you with us tonight and singing your songs. Enjoy.
No man took his life, he laid it down. For the joy that was before him called him on to higher ground. The pull of love so strong it could not be denied. Cried out from Calvary, come embrace this place of light. While the world saw a Roman cross, he saw love through his pain. When the world said, what a tragic loss, he said only gain. While the world mourned Calvary's midnight, he saw redemption's dawn. He was not driven to the cross. He was drawn. No torture could deter him from his goal, for he knew that he must go there to redeem our fallen souls. So he fixed his gaze upon what lay beyond that hill, and gladly paid the cost to fulfill his Father's will. While the world saw a Roman cross, he saw love through his pain. When the world said, what a tragic loss, he said only gain. While the world mourned Calvary's midnight, he saw redemption's dawn. He was not driven to the cross. He
Hi, I'm Sheriff Chad Chronister. We are fortunate to live in a community where getting help is as easy as calling 911. You can depend on your local law enforcement agency to be there for you during a crisis and in your time of need. For the same first responders who answer your calls, Chaplaincy Care is here to answer their calls. It's no secret that being a first responder is a difficult job, and deputies face more challenges today than ever before. We are thankful to have a team of chaplains who are there simply to listen or offer a shoulder to cry on for someone who is dealing with personal issues like mental health, substance abuse, or PTSD. Organizations like Chaplaincy Care are critical to helping first responders continue to achieve our mission to protect and serve our community. Deputies hear it all the time, but I want to personally say to those with Chaplaincy Care, thank you for your service. Your work is truly saving lives.
So for 2.5 years, I have been able to serve the Hillsborough community, working in the restaurant industry. My unique role is with our first responders. I'm kind of that middle point between the restaurant and these individuals. And it is one of the most rewarding jobs I've ever been able to be a part of. The friendships that I've made, the relationships in general are absolutely amazing. There really is no word to describe it. Being able to get a phone call in the middle of the night, go to the hospital when someone needs help, and there is no words for it other than it's very humbling. And I am so honored and so privileged to be able to have this particular role. I don't know what I would do otherwise. And I think that a part of the whole thing is that as a community, we really need to be able to share that with these individuals. These are individuals who put their life on the line every day for complete strangers. And a lot of times they don't get recognized for it, and they don't ask for it. But to be able to simply walk up to an officer, to walk up to a firefighter, to walk up to someone in the medical services and say thank you, it can make their whole entire day. Leave a note on their car, buy them a cup of coffee. It's things like that that are the most powerful for all of us. And the work that Chaplaincy Care also gets to do with these individuals, there's no other organization like it in our area, and I'm very honored that I've been able to be a part of this today and recognize these heroes that we have in our community.
My name is David Burnett. I'm the fire chief for the city of Plant City Fire Rescue. And I want to emphasize how important it is for the community to support the fire rescue department in the city for our mission that we serve. Without that support, we could not have the members that we have provide the service and the level of service we do as a fire-based EMS agency within Hillsborough County. We respond to all hazards within the community, and at times during events, hurricane response as well as any other natural disaster, we need the community support to not only take care of, enhance our response, but we also need to ensure that we take care of our members. We have a lot of members that reside within the community, and it's important to know that the community is there when we need them, in the good times and the bad. So with that said, again, we really appreciate the support from the community, and we could not be here to provide the mission to serve the citizens of the city of Plant City without your support. Thank you.
I'm Jerry McCarley, owner and founder of Florida Air Services. We do commercial and industrial air conditioning in Hillsborough, Pinellas, Polk, and Pasco counties. We're a big supporter of Chaplaincy Care and of the first responders. My personal involvement is over the years I've had a number of dear friends who were involved in local law enforcement and have some ideas what they go through and what their life is like. We want to thank all of our first responders for everything they do for us in our daily lives. Thank you.
Hello, I am Police Chief Ed Duncan with the Plant City Police Department, and it's my pleasure to be here today with you and to give you my perspective as to how important it is for the community and the police to collaborate together in taking on different challenges as we face them day to day. One of the most important things for police officers is to know that the community in which they serve is there in support of them. This partnership helps us to better serve the community, and it also provides us with a sense of thoroughness in our endeavors to do good in this community. In my entire law enforcement career of 45 years here in Hillsborough County, I've served with all three agencies, the Tampa Police Department, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, and now the Plant City Police Department. But I can assure you that in every one of those agencies, your support to those law enforcement officers is invaluable. The officers gives them a sense of security and also gives them a sense of purpose to go out and do the best job that they can and to maintain that professionalism and integrity that they swore to uphold from the very beginning. So thank you for having me here today with you, and I look forward to serving you in the future.
I'm Dr. Dan Middlericks from Chaplaincy Care, and I want to do a quick interview with one of our business owners, Frank, here at Walden Lake Car Wash, because they not only support our first responders, but they did something special for one of our local firemen right here in Plant City. Frank, what was it that you did for the family for the Plant City Fire Department?
We did a fundraiser for him while he was hospitalized, and to help support him and make up for some of the money that he was spending while he was in the hospital, or his family was spending to visit him.
Now, if I remember right, with the car wash and everything else, it was just the car wash was completely open then for people to come in, and all the proceeds were raised right for them.
They raised, I believe, over $20,000. They had local firemen and county firemen here washing cars. We supplied the facility and the soap and different things like that. They were passing the boot up on the highway. It was a very, very nice family community function that it turned out to be. We had over 1,000 people here.
Wow.
Supporting this or helping support this young man.
Excellent. And I know that their family was not only great appreciative of them, but I want you to know for all of our first responders, many of our companies, not only here in Plant City, but also in the Tampa Bay area, are tremendous in their support and taking care of them, as well as supporting us at Chaplaincy Care. Because of what they do, we're able to do so much more in their lives. When they need us the most, we can be there for them, just like when we call 911, they are there for us. Thanks for joining me on the interview of the faces of our companies that support us and our first responders on Chaplaincy Care. Thank you, and have a great day.
Hi, I am Julie Steele. I am a detective with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. Over my 15 years at the Sheriff's Office, us providing to the community and supporting the community has been a huge part of my 15 years in law enforcement, and likely it coming back to us of our support from our community is so important to our law enforcement family. We are out there, we leave our families. I leave 3 babies at home every morning when I go to work, and I'm out there trying to fulfill the community's needs of being a law enforcement officer and being a detective. And having the support of our community these days has been a tremendous help. And my children seeing the support of the community has made it easier for them to see mommy go off to work every day. So I thank the community, I thank the Chaplain Care staff, and it's just a blessing to be part of such a large family.
These are just some of the stories from our first responders of how much they deeply appreciate the support of their community, but also that there are some incredible stories from our community of how much they love and support them. It's one of those things that reminds me that we're all in this together. One of the stories close to the end of that was Detective Julie Seeley. I know with hers, especially being a mom, Crystal, that must have hit a little bit home during that time.
It's very powerful what she said, that, having to leave her children every time that she goes into work. Being a mom myself, I leave my 2 children every day. I know I'm coming home. As a first responder, you don't always know what's going to happen if you are coming home to those children. Are you saying your last goodbye? You're giving your last hug, your last kiss.
That's right. And those are the type of stressful moments that you can't do alone. Being with someone that walks with you through the hard times, and actually through some of the dark times, is something that our next special guest knows exactly about. His name is John Teagan. Before we bring him on, I want to introduce you by just kind of reading a little bit of his bio. An amazing man that has done some incredible things.
Yes.
He served with the U.S. Marines in the 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines. He then contracted as a security officer with the Blackwater Security, going into Afghanistan, Pakistan, as well as in Iraq. And then later on, he joined the Central Intelligence Agency's Global Response Staff. And doing that, deployed over 40 some odd times overseas and different places of that nature. But mostly, John is known for being a survivor of the 2011, September 11, Benghazi attack. That's where his security annex teams, defying a stand-down order, went in and fought shoulder to shoulder 13 hours against the militant Islamic insurgents and saved countless lives of the Central Intelligence Agency's employees. Sadly, at the end of that, 4 Americans died, to include U.S. Ambassador J. Christopher Stevens. Tig was given multiple awards for his heroism, and he joined back up later on with his team and with best-selling author Mitchell Zukoff to write the book 13 Hours, the inside account of what really happened in Benghazi. John, I want you to know that it is a great honor to have you virtually with us tonight on our Banquet of Heroes.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Dr. Dan. Appreciate you having me on. Look forward to seeing you guys in person soon.
John, with all of your experience, both in the military and in security operations, do me a favor, tell me, why is it so important not just to train your body, but to train your mind and your heart as well?
You know, they both go hand in hand. One really can't succeed without the other. I mean, it's just, you know, your body has to be physically able to handle the trauma, whether it's, you know, from anything from blunt force to, you know, a bullet piercing you. I mean, obviously, the more physically fit you are, the more likelihood you'll be able to overcome a lot of major trauma. Same thing with mental. You know, you can only prepare so much, you know, mentally, and that's just kind of pretty much learning on how to treat trauma. So it kind of helps you prepare for your own trauma for the most part. But a lot of times, mentally preparing yourself for trauma, you really ain't gonna know how you're gonna react until you're in the situation itself. So, but it's important, obviously, to do both. Just same thing for anything that you're doing.
John, let me ask you this. You said that there's preparation to get ready for what you need to do for your job. As a first responder, how do you do that? What guides you? What leads you to walk to where you need to be? Who needs to be in that realm with you?
Yeah, I think it's extremely important to have somebody that's pretty much walked the same line that you have, so they understand more about what you actually went through. You know, it's like talking to, easiest way to say it without anybody who's not involved in it would be, it's like going and talking to a computer tech about a vehicle, you know, a non-mechanic. How do you fix your vehicle? The same thing, in my opinion, goes with that. That's why a lot of veterans that I've seen don't really like talking with the VA personnel, but they don't like calling the hotline. It's a little bit better now because they're talking to somebody who's never been in combat. They've never been in a situation that they're trying to explain to what they're going through, because all they do, you know, they've read books. They know how to, again, they just learn it through the books, not through actual reality. I think it's a whole different process, and guys feel, and women feel a lot more comfortable talking with somebody who's been there and done that along with them. So I think you get through it a lot faster. They understand it a lot quicker, and they know exactly how you feel for the most part and what you went through. And it's a lot better. That's why veterans are helping veterans a lot more nowadays. The same with first responders. They're doing the same thing. So, it's good, you know, versus going and talking with somebody who's just got educated in it, and that's it. They just read books. So I think it's very important.
John, that's a powerful point. There's only so much that we can learn, you know, with our head knowledge, but it does take a heart passion to be able to help somebody that's hurting, especially when they've gone through trauma. John, let me ask you this last question. What does it take for like chaplaincy care, for our community, and even first responders to come alongside those that have been impacted for trauma? Kind of what Crystal alluded to earlier, almost the, who do you have with you in the fight? What can we do to help our first responders?
So I think what it really means for us to be heroes to our heroes, I would say more warriors to our warriors. We're always there for each other. We always help each other. We support each other in every way that we can. We don't leave a brother behind. And that's one of the biggest things, is how you're being a hero to your hero. You support them in all different kinds of ways. When we go out and we do our charity events, for our foundation and stuff, it's 90% of the time it's veterans helping veterans, first responder helping first responders. Anywhere from donations to just staying on the line with them at 2 a.m, 3 a.m, for hours on end. And we do it, all the time. And that's, to me, that's what it is. I mean, it's the support network that gets us through. And, there's a lot, there's a lot more civilians that have been coming on. I hate calling them civilians, but they're coming on a lot more and seeing the reality of the things that, people are actually going through. They may not totally understand it, but they're actually stepping up and helping support. And again, your heroes are your heroes, and that's how you help them, or your warriors are your warriors. And without each other, we wouldn't be anywhere the way, we wouldn't be where we are today. We'd just be, back where we were in the 70s, so we've been doing a lot more these last couple of years and helping each other out.
I really like that saying, warrior to warrior, just being able to help somebody out. It kind of draws back to what I mentioned earlier, that being able to be that listening ear for somebody. The many nights that I have gotten phone calls at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's nice to be able to have that relationship with somebody.
It's great for someone to feel like they're not alone.
Exactly.
Really,
Exactly.
And the power of actually hearing someone, but the power more so is the greatest gift we give to someone is when they're heard, when their story
Exactly.
is heard. And truthfully, John, I look forward to next year when you're able to tell your story about Benghazi. Thank you so much for joining with us tonight and taking the time. Next year, I know that you'll be live and in person, so I look forward to being here for our Banquet of Heroes. And I thank you also for your service and for your passion and for everything that you've done to take care of our first responders and walk with them through these dark times. John, it's great to have you with us tonight.
Thank you for being here.
I really appreciate you having me on, Dr. Dan, and I look forward to actually coming out there in person when this whole COVID thing kind of goes past us. But you guys are doing a good thing, and keep it up. And again, I look forward to seeing you guys.
John had mentioned warrior to warrior, but the challenge I give everyone else is still to be hero to our heroes. With your contribution to chaplaincy care, you're allowing us to be able to be the personal touch in the times of their pain, and sometimes also in their tragedy, and to be able to walk with them even through the stormiest of times.
Definitely. You can definitely be the hero to our heroes with your generous donation. It's a tax-deductible gift. Use the website chaplaincycare.org or the phone number listed on your screen. At this point in the game, I think we are about halfway to our goal.
Yep, halfway to our goal of the $10,000 donation match. So continue to start giving in. And as you're doing that, as you're online, especially check out the auction items, because that's going to continue to go on. And check out the gun raffle. It's always good to buy a couple of tickets and stuff for that. But go online, and while you're doing that, enjoy our next song from the New Floridians. What an incredible group of our singing public servants and stuff. Guys, take it away.
Sometimes I feel so small. I wonder what God wants from me. What will I be? I listen for His call.
Thank you to the New Floridians for the beautiful music. As a first responder, there are a lot of anxieties and stressors that come with the job. And sometimes it's very hard to be able to find a resource that they can go to just relieve some of the thoughts that they have going on. And one of the nice things about Chaplaincy Care is that they do offer a counseling service. And today, Miss Katrina is with us. She is actually the director of the counseling department. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me, Crystal. Like she said, I'm Katrina Haar, Director of Chaplaincy Care Counseling Center, and it's an honor for me to be here honoring these first responders and hearing their stories. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. So please tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my husband and I both are retired military, go Army. We know firsthand some of the things that our first responders deal with, you know, with our own personal journey. So
thank you. Well, we love it. Thank you for doing what you do. Please tell us a little bit about the counseling service that you guys offer.
Yeah, so we offer, like Crystal said, we offer counseling services to our first responders. And a matter of fact, we started doing that around the end portion of March. One of the things that made us so unique was that we were able to provide these services sometimes on the weekends, also sometimes in the evening hours, especially as we look at the different shifts that these first responders were
Not a normal
on.
9 to 5 job.
No, definitely not a normal. There's nothing normal about that. But that was one of the great and unique things about Chaplaincy Care, that we were able to provide that. And especially during the pandemic, we were able to offer those services at no cost, which is really nice. Yeah.
Definitely. Now, obviously, going kind of with the pandemic, have you been able to provide more care than you thought you'd be able to?
Yes, definitely. And you're going to hear about one of those different opportunities with our next story, and that would be the story of Hannah and Jennifer. Now, both individuals you will see next. It started with Hannah, where she came and she sought out care for herself. And later on through our relationship, especially as she discovered some of those tools, she was able to then convince her mom of the same thing, that those tools can be helpful for her in some of her struggles.
Which is nice.
Yeah,
Definitely
very nice.
Definitely nice. So you said it was a mom and daughter duo then?
Yes.
Awesome. Now they are local?
Yes, so they're local. Hannah is in the security enterprise for a local hospital, and Jennifer is a nurse.
Fantastic.
So,
well, thank you for them and what they do. So, well, let's get to their story then.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm a nurse. I've been in nursing for about 25 years. I have worked at multiple hospitals, Brandon, Shriners Hospital. I've worked at VA Hospital, and I currently work from home in insurance review. I have been blessed to be able to be at home during this pandemic, and my daughter just recently did get into the healthcare field in the ER.
I'm Hannah Bernard. I am a security officer at Brandon Hospital, and I recently just got there because I was in ROTC in high school, and I wanted the similarity of the structure and to help people. And I got in right before the pandemic happened. So once the pandemic started, there started to be a lot of struggles, a lot more stressors, and I decided that I needed counseling to help me get through all that. A lot of the stressors were when we started having to wear masks and people started to come in with the coronavirus, and I didn't really know how to handle that. I wasn't really prepared for that. A lot of the nurses weren't prepared for that as well, and there was a lot of miscommunication going on between the nurses and the staff, and they didn't really know how to handle it. So it kind of weighed on me, and with my brother having low immune system, it was a big stress coming home every night not knowing if I was going to give that to him. So I decided that I needed to go to counseling and talk to somebody about how stressful this could be and just have someone by my side. So I decided to go to Chaplaincy Care Counseling Center and meet Katrina Haar. And we started talking about all the stressors and different ways that you can get through it. I decided that my mom needed counseling as well due to just the stress going on, not only at our work environment, but home environment as well. So I decided that I would contact Katrina and see if she'd be willing to help my mom out, and she said absolutely. So now me and my mom are both here and getting counseling.
So I have quite a bit going on in the home environment because my father is at an assisted living facility. He just recently fell. They're bringing in hospice care on top of having to work cases and trying to get these people authorized to go to the very facilities I have to send my father to with hospice care. So I understand that each case I read is real and it reflects directly to a family. And so I take every case I do very, very personally. And then I also have my son with chronic illness and my daughter with some emotional stress and a new job. It can become overwhelming. My husband and I both tag team this. So we've been married for over 25 years, and we have been in survival mode since 2002 after being hit by a drunk driver, and just from there it just went into chronic illnesses with children, parents passing, and just one life-changing event after another, and at some point it becomes too much. So my daughter recognized that as I became more stressful, it bled into the family. And so I didn't want to bring that negative environment to the family. And when she reached out to Katrina, her former teacher from ROTC, finding out that she was going to be a counselor was just like, I knew God totally kept her in my daughter's life so that we could help each other. And I like to be able to help by doing this testimony, and that's my way to give back to the chaplaincy counseling and to Katrina, and my appreciation for community just being there for their own people, because that's what it's all about.
Hi, my name is Paul Davis. I'm a retired major with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. I spent 32 years in law enforcement and loved every minute of it. But I'm going to tell you, I've never seen a more stressful job. I've seen people shot at, I've seen people hurt, I've seen people cry when they go to a call, a child gets killed. And I'm going to tell you, the most important thing we can do as a community is come together and support those people, because they're going right back out tomorrow into the same environment. And I got to tell you, having a place like Chaplaincy Care, they care so much. They understand the needs. They understand the high velocity emotions that happen every single day when you're driving to an emergency situation. Someone's hurt, killed, and you have to get out, maintain order, keep your composure, and not let your personal feelings get involved. I think today it's more important than ever that we get out and support our law enforcement officers. And the people at Chaplaincy Care absolutely do that in every way possible. So please get out and support this part of our society, and just let those officers, military people, let them know that there's a place to go that understands. So thank you for your support.
Thank you, Paul. There's a difference between being stressed and stress-filled. And our first responders know the difference between the two, so do their families. Next story is a deputy with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. His name is Tim Kelly. And he has just absolutely loved what he does in reference to being a deputy. But he's faced a lot of scary moments, and those splashes that have now inside his soul in itself, those ripples are felt more than just by him. They're also felt by his family. So listen to Tim's story, as well as the story of his wife, Julie, and their kids, as they talk about the stress-filled life of being the family of a first responder.
Hi, I'm James Kelly. I'm a deputy of the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. I have been employed by them for over 25 years. I'm second generation, so it's in my blood, and it's what I love to do. It's all I ever wanted to do when I was a kid. We're coming to you tonight to talk to you guys and explain what it feels like to be a family of a first responder or law enforcement. I want to introduce my wife. This is Julie Kelly.
Hi, we have been married for 23 years. We have been together for 25 years. These are our kids. This is James, Kira, and Kathleen. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what it's like to be a first responder's wife. Like I said, we've been together 25 years. We've been married for 23. That takes a lot of work. It's not just all fun and games, especially not with a first responder. There's been lots of days that he walks out of the house and I kiss him and I pray Psalm 91 over him. And we don't know that he's coming home. We have to have faith. We have to believe that he is. Because we don't know anymore. But it's what he loves, it's in his blood, and there's not a single one of us that would ever tell him not to do what his heart and what God has told him to do. You guys want to say anything?
When I was a kid, whenever he walked out the door, I would sit at the door for hours on end until he came home, crying my eyes out, because I understood that I might not never see him again. This job he has, it's amazing and sad and full of joy all at the same time. And I actually want to kind of follow in his footsteps and become a CSI, a crime scene investigation. And well, I'm just hoping I can get there, you know?
Ladies?
It's okay. Sometimes it's hard for my kids to talk about it. There's been lots of good times. There's lots of bad times. There's lots of fear. There's lots of stress. She won't tell you, but one of her memories that Colleen has told about is the fact that she had 3 or 4 birthdays in a row that Daddy got called and said, you have to come to work. You gotta go. And we had to understand that. When James was first born, my husband ran across a counterfeiter. So we sat in our car while Daddy went and called for assistance and took care of that. That's the life of a first responder. That's the life of what we deal with. It's not always 9 to 5, 12 to 12, 6 to 6. That's not the job. The job is we walk into a building and you ask my children where are the exits. My children will tell you where the exits are. Why? Because that's what Daddy said. You need to know how to get out of a situation. You need to know what to do. And it's made us strong though. It's made us very strong. I'm very grateful for our Sheriff's Office family. We have lost family members in the past 2 years and they've been there for us. Our chaplain here at First Call, Chaplain Dan, didn't really know us very well, but as soon as he heard that we needed something and we were part of his family, we had started coming to the church, he was right there for us. I can't be more grateful for the people at this church and for the people at the Sheriff's Office who have been there through all this. It's hard right now with the way everybody perceives him because this man's heart is so pure and so caring about everybody that he sees and deals with. And he has to listen day in and day out to these people talk about cops and how bad they are. And they're not. It's very few. So before you make that judgment, think. Because there's people standing behind the man behind the badge. And we want him home.
It's a very good point. Also, I'd like to say that there are citizens out there that really appreciate what we do. And when I get it's a toss of the coin of what's going to be said, but 80 to 90% of the time when I hear a honk at like a stoplight or something and they want me to roll my window down, they tell me, thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you do. And I always tell them not only thank you from me, but thank you from every other officer that's out here. One of the things, and I'd like to wrap it up by just saying that not only was I lucky enough to get such a lovely wife, and she helped me see who my true Savior and should be, and it's Jesus Christ. And with her love and with my children's strength and my whole family's strength, my faith has grown exponentially. Now, I know there's a pandemic, and the worst part about the riots and the stuff like that, and this is not just recently, but going back to when it all started with the Ferguson riots. We're being ambushed. We are being taken out while we sit in our cars and, you know, doing our reports. That is nothing that anybody here signed up to do, is to get ambushed. Now, that being said, be rest assured that if there's somebody in your child's school that's shooting, I'm going in and I'm going after them. There's no doubt in my mind. If I don't make it out of that school, I know where I'm going. My family knows where I'm going. So I have a very strong faith in that. And I've always been called to serve. It's what we do. So please say thank you to your deputies and your law enforcement out there, whatever you see. It's greatly appreciated.
Crystal, I know that the men and women that serve in our community can do it a lot more passionately when they know that the home front is so supportive.
Dan, you are very right on that. Tonight we've heard some wonderful stories from our first responders and their families. It's very touching to be able to listen to these individuals and get their side of the story. And speaking of stories, it doesn't end here tonight. With your help, we can continue to support these individuals and their families.
That's exactly right. I remember John Maxwell, tremendous leadership guru, had received a book when he was young, and the title of the book was The Second Greatest Story Ever Told. Now, he was a ferocious reader at that time, so he began to flip through the pages, only to find out that the pages were blank. Well, that confused him because he looked at the lady that was giving him the book, and she says, "John, yours is the second greatest story ever told. What will you write?" And that's really what I want us to get to this point, because, ladies and gentlemen, you hold the pen that continues to write the story of our first responders, of how we support them, of how we take care of them, and how we provide for them. With every check written, with every donation made, with every pledge that's given, you're continuing to strengthen the story of our first responders and their families. The question is, will you help us do that?
We hope that you will. You are that powerful impact. You write your own story. Help us to write these individual stories for the future. With your tax deductible gift, we can make that happen.
That's right. And when you help strengthen their story, you strengthen yours as well. So when you take the time to pick up the pen and write the check, for those of you that still have checks, and go online or actually to call the phone numbers that we have, enjoy a last song from an inspiring first responder group, our New Floridians, as you consider the story that you're going to write.
He let his light
an incredible song and what an incredible evening we have had so far.
Absolutely. And I pray that the celebration doesn't stop tonight.
No.
It just continues all year long. At this time, we really want to be able to do some shout outs to some amazing sponsors to help get this night in. And to make sure we got it, I got my little piece of paper again. So we're going to go through this. Our warrior sponsor of $5,000 with Central Florida Exteriors and Central Florida Heating and Cooling all together. Thank you for being our title sponsor.
Fantastic. Our Shield, that was a $3,000 sponsor. We actually had two entities, the Florida Air Services and the Middlebrook Foundation.
Yep. Our next one is our sword sponsor of $2,000. That was Haught Funeral Home and Journey Enterprises. Guys, thanks for investing in our time.
Fantastic. We also had our breastplate, which is a $1,000 donation. We actually have a couple of those. We have Hungry Howie's, Allen's Air, let's see. Yep, Allen's Air Conditioning, Cliff Vet Foundation, Jim and Susan Bradford, Jarrett Scott Ford, Suncoast Federal Credit Union. So thank you.
Actually, some great $1,000 sponsors. And to end up with our helmet sponsors of $500, we have Publix, we have Bubba Q's, we have Ron Jordan, we have Lawson Farms, we have Stag Nursery, we have Walden Lake Car Wash, great place to go, and we have the attorney Dan Casuego and his firm donating. Thank you again. We also want to give a great shout out to Ryan and the staff at Outback.
Yes.
Some great food that they provided for our first responders tonight, and some incredible sweets from Mike's Pies and also from the Cookie Born. I was trying to pray all the calories out of them, and we couldn't really do that. But it's a time by which we not only want to celebrate, but we also want to thank some other people that have given in.
You know, just thank you from the community. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being there and just helping Chaplaincy Care throughout the process.
Yep. For all of you that called in with the donations and are continuing to call in, we truly want to say thank you for being a hero to our heroes. We've been asked to extend this. I know we were about to close out, but we've been asked to extend this all the way until about 8:45. And what I'm talking about extending is we're going to end this part. But we're going to come back live again at 8:45 because they've asked us to extend the gun raffle. So go ahead and get your last minute tickets because there were some that were still getting. And if you still want to be able to donate, I encourage you, don't stop donating today.
No.
You can donate all year long. We'll take your money all year long. But it's also one that continues to invest in the hearts of our first responders. So here's what I'd like to say. For those of you that are going to join me at 8:45 for the drawing of the raffle ticket for the gun and for the final tally of our goal of $50,000, I look forward to seeing you then.
Sounds fantastic.
Yep. And at the end of it, for those of you that are about to close this out right now and you're about to leave out after we get finished, thank you for being here. And Crystal, thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you for an incredible night. And thank you for being my co-host and bringing your beauty to the stage, but also your passion, not just for our community, but also for our companies to be able to take care of our first responders.
Well, I really appreciate it. Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here. I would encourage everybody to come on down to Mission Barbecue. I would love to meet everybody in person who has helped out Chaplaincy Care.
Excellent. We'll see you soon.
Have a great night, you guys. Thank you so much for being here.